So this piece right here is called Preparation, and it's by Kid Cardiac, a local Memphian, who all of their work is about tufting, and she does a lot of really major pop culture icons and people who she finds inspiring, like this piece, which is a portrait of Muhammad Ali, and it's about preparation, right? All this time that you spend, which he spent working on a punching bag to get to this moment right here. So.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always love her work. It's very detailed, even though it's tough in like how she just does the highlighting, like the people in the crowd.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
She has a wonderful eye for detail and a really great skill to be able to get a lot of highs and lows. Something that you can't always see when you're looking at her works flat is that there's real 3D dimension. She goes in with clippers and she will actually create relief within the works. Yeah. So some of these colors that you're seeing are actually like raised.
Yeah, raised
raised up. Some of it is different colors to create the shadow, and some of it is real shadow work from her using the clippers to get the different heights and values.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love kids' work. I mean, she's incredible.
So I know she has like 2 other pieces.
She does. She has 2 other pieces in the show, so let's go take a look at those. So this piece right here is When Lil Skateboard Came. And Kid Cardiac describes Skateboard P as the definition of cool. She went into the archives from 2004, her camera roll, some of her favorite icons, and brought this into 2025. And so it's a little bit of functionality meets playfulness, and she just has a good time. Kid Cardiac is interested in all types of articles of pop culture, not just the icons, but also the relics of culture, in this case, the skateboard. And here we have the birth of When Lil Skateboard Came. All right, so this is the Andre piece. This is Discovery. And it's really kind of cool to me because it's a double entendre almost. And I don't know if she meant it to be a double entendre, but the reason I say that is because in this work, Kid Cardiac, she's discovering kind of some new modes of creation, including this woodwork background. A minute ago, we were talking about some other works that you might see her, or she might be known for, where she tufts her own gold frames. And in this work, we see her playing around with kind of that carpentry skill and building out gold frames and wooden backgrounds. So that's a fun way of discovery. And in the other way of discovery, this piece is talking about Andre 3000's self-discovery, where he's changing his public persona and identity and discovering new ways to present himself and go back to his true self and being okay with that. So I love it. It's great. I really wish I could take this blanket off of Andre 3000 and wear it myself.
Make one. So
you know, you're right. I should ask. It's incredible. I love the way that Andre pops off of the wooden background. It just feels like he's about to jump out at you. So this is Black Silk by Aaliyah Bonnet, and I think this is incredible. I mean, they're all my favorite works in the show. All of them are my favorites. But when I saw this for the first time, it really just took my breath away. And this piece really is her experimenting with both of those skills. These are real leather hides that she's pieced together. And this mother-daughter duo is exploring their adult relationship as opposed to their adolescent mother-child relationship. So they're right here smoking 2 cigars, just being badass women. The leather gives it this series, like this dimension, but also it's raw, right? It feels really, really raw, and it feels vulnerable too, not just the subjects, right? I would feel vulnerable smoking a cigar with my mom. I think she might have a fit. But a Cuban. But you know, exactly. And so it's really intimate, but at the same time, it feels empowering and it's really fun. And so, I don't know, I want to pick one up too. It's incredible. It's really incredible. So this is Before the Birth by Jess Hill. And Before the Birth is a photo retelling of something that really happened in her real life. So the two human subjects here are her grandparents who came to visit her mom right before she was born. And so this is their car that they pulled up in the driveway, and her mom snapped this picture from her front porch of her grandparents there to visit her. And so obviously this isn't a driveway in a little neighborhood. She's taken a lot of creative liberties here to tell the story that's kind of written between the lines of that photo that was given to her. And so there's a couple of different nuggets here you'll see. She included these mountains as a backdrop, as a symbol of strength and resilience that's within her family. You have these cheetahs here that kind of serve as this connection to nature. And even this cheetah right here, who's kind of looking up into the sky, kind of reminding us of the cyclical nature of life, and how, you know, everything kind of comes back around. So we have all of these things, even this African mud cloth as a tie to her cultural roots, as the ground that they're standing on, literally standing on their roots. So it's a beautiful piece filled with lots of different symbolism, including these masks that also tie back to her cultural heritage. And those are the faces that she used to depict her grandmother and grandfather here. So it's really sweet and kind of fun to think about, you know, what was happening right before you got here. This is a quilt 4, and it was created by Zoe Pulley. And quilting is a tradition that exists on her father's side of the family, and that's how she learned quilting. And this quilt was created as a thank you to all of the matriarchs and women in her family that came before her or grew up alongside her. And she thanks the women on both sides of her family. You'll see the Wades here or Scruggs. And so she finds all these women and she thanks them in this quilt by going back to this tradition that they've taught her. And then she's used these thank you bags. And she poses the question, can the ephemeral become the precious? And so when we think about things that are ephemeral, they're things that we often don't think about or throw away, or they serve a purpose. And she's taken those things and created something precious with it, literally saying thank you. Isn't that fun? So this right here is a double feature. We have Shaped with Purpose and we have Woven into Existence. And both of these sculptures were created by Jake Amazon. For her, stitching, you know, represents mending and strength and resilience. And so you kind of have that happening here, right? On these two sculptures that are made out of burlap that have kind of been a little bit battered and torn. And these pieces explore connection, maybe between mother and daughter, as they are shaped with purpose and woven into existence and resilient together and continuing to become through that process. And it's a stray away from, a lot of times we think about fabric and textile arts as being very dainty, very cutesy, But this isn't very cutesy. This is very strong. It's very moving. So this piece is by Janessa Ladson, and it's called The Greater Part Has Been Removed. And Janessa uses her practice as a way to explore the intersectionality of queerness, Blackness, and womanhood, all together rolled in one. A lot of her work features lace and synthetic hair.
Is it hair?
This is synthetic hair. This is the real deal. This is that yaki. And so in that, she also includes experimental photographs of herself and of her family as she explores and asks herself all these questions and literally weaves together notions of femininity and Blackness. In this piece, you'll see two kind of things that society kind of tries to separate our femininity away from our Blackness, but we know that they're intertwined, and she brings that here and allows us to think over that, and she's asking the questions. She chooses to kind of reveal and obscure some parts of her identity as she's exploring what that is. And so we have some parts that have been removed, some parts that are here, and she kind of is embracing the ambiguity of who am I and figuring that out by choosing parts to include, some parts to, take out. Really thoughtful, isn't it? So these pieces are by Felicia Rochelle. This is Way Up There and Sarah Lou in pink. Felicia has Native American cultural heritage, and she uses her beadwork to explore her cultural heritage and these stitches that she's learned as a way to reconnect and even reconnect with her ancestors. So Sarah Lou is Felicia's grandmother. And in this process, she was able to reconnect with her heritage through the process of making and creating, studying her grandmother's face, deciding where these colors were gonna be, and spending that time connecting with her. Yeah.
Those are tiny.
Yes, they're very tiny. So she uses the peyote stitch and creates these sheets of Japanese glass beads that create these incredibly detailed portraits. And then when she's done with that, she goes in and hand crochets these lace borders. So these are all made by Felicia, and she crocheted them onto the works herself. And so each of the lace rosettes was made one by one over the series of several weeks and months to be able to create the finish for this. And so it's a bunch of really tiny threads you'll see that were needed to pull together this lace. So this is, get ready. I was just an alien that came down from the sky to save your dumb behind. This piece was created by April Bay, and it's a portrait of her best friend, Jessie. And all of April's work exists in a fictional realm called Atlantica. And Atlantica is a place where all Black people are free, queerness thrives, and nobody has to prove their humanity or go above and beyond. It's a Black utopia. And a lot of times she will create portals to Atlantica where we can see Atlanticans thriving in their natural habitat, where they're being free, being prophets and magicians and creatives and artists. And in this piece, April says that Jessie is all of those things and more. She took this portrait of Jessie on Juneteenth, a day of liberation, of forward looking to the future, and capture this moment. And it's really a beautiful portrait between best friends where you can capture that and see that in your best friend and transport her through the portal and send her to Atlantica.
How is this print? Like what is it?
So this is actually a woven blanket.
So the
Yes, so every single
details are
thread,
woven.
yes, all of these details are woven and formed into a blanket, which ultimately is the base for this work. And then all of these other fabrics and threads are appliqued onto the surface. This is one of the few things that you cannot do with a machine. There is no machine that creates stitches like this, actually. So all of this has to be hand done. And you'll even see there's some small irregularities in how far they're spaced apart and that kind of thing, or how wide they are, that are a nod to the hand done nature of it all.